All right, filming. All right, cool. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the first actual episode of Question and Aggression. I don't know if I'm going to call this episode 2 or episode 1. The other one's kind of an introduction. I'll probably call this episode 1. Anyway, for those of you who don't know, my name's AJ. I'm from a band called Nervous Aggression. We've toured about half the country for the past 8 or so years. I've been playing live for about 15 years or so. If you want any more information than that, go ahead and check out my last video. Probably just going to call it introduction. In fact, I'm going to call it introduction. It'll be somewhere in the recommendeds, whatever. I'm still figuring out this whole YouTube thing, so maybe I'll put a card here or something like that. I don't know. Anyhow, this is episode 1, how to start a band.
Let's go!
So this is actually a question I've legitimately had a couple times. How do I even start a band? Where do I look? Where do I begin? And the way I did it is, obviously just my friends in high school who had similar interests in music. We just ended up jamming together. And I'm sure for a lot of people that's how it happens, but sometimes, your friend group just isn't so interested in jamming. Maybe they're into like hunting or playing video games or whatever the fuck. So if that's you, and you don't have anybody in your immediate friend circle who wants to start music or who has the energy or will to take it seriously, here's some tips that I thought maybe could help someone in that situation. All right, so point number 1 is going to be a point I make for a lot of these videos because, like I said, I got a few episodes already written out and everything like that, but this is one of the most key things that you should already be doing if you're not already doing. I don't care how far along you are in your music career, you should always be doing this. Go to shows. Whether it serves you or not, you should go to shows because at the end of the day, it's for the love of the music and it's for the love of the scene. When I was growing up, I couldn't just go to shows. The closest local shows were over an hour away. And when I'm, 15, 16, 17, without a car, without a license, I wasn't able to go out on the weekends and just go to shows. So if you're in at least a big enough city with the local scene, go to shows. Go support the locals because you have no idea how much it means to them. And at the end of the day, you're at least going to learn something from going to these shows and putting yourself in those environments. I don't want to hear shit about social anxiety. I probably shouldn't say that. But get over yourself. Go to fucking shows. I'm sorry. I don't know how to be nice about it. Just fucking, I get anxious still. Go to shows. And by going to shows, you're going to put yourself automatically in contact. I guarantee a lot of people who go to shows have particularly local shows, have a really deep love for music. And if they're not already in bands, they're probably looking to start a band themselves. So put yourself around these people and get to know some of the folks. That leads me into point number 2, which is meet the right people. All right, so what do I mean by the right people? Well, there's a lot of assholes in the world. I'm sure I don't need to tell you, but there's some fucking real pricks out there. And I would take, the less talented person with, the heart and the will and the drive to do something over the more talented person, over someone who either has commitment issues or attitude issues or anything like that. At the end of the day, if you're starting a band with somebody, you're going to have to be around that person a lot. You don't have to be best friends ever and hang out constantly outside of band practice, but you need to get along. Like, you need to have a similar vision and you need to have respect for each other. Not just you respecting them, they need to respect you too. Stand up for yourself. That shit can end up really toxic. I've had that issue before with band members in the past. Maybe we didn't just have a mutual respect for each other. It sucks and it ends up going nowhere fast. So that's what I mean by meet the right people. So it's got to be the right people, not just anybody. Meet the right people. All right, so you're going to shows, you're getting to know the people, everything like that. You met some people that you really get along with. You met the right people. They're into the same type of music you are, or at least close enough. So the next thing to do is learn some covers and practice some covers. So this one can get a little tricky. I mean, maybe you meet the right people and you have like the same exact favorite bands and everything runs smooth and easy, great. But I know when I started, my older brother, shout out to Blake, I'm sure you're watching this, shout out bro. Me and him started Nervous Aggression together. He was more into like the Misfits and Black Flag. I was more into like the Casualties and Public Nuisance and stuff like that. our bassist, guitarist, whatever at the time, whatever he felt like playing that day, was more into like Nirvana and Screaming Trees and stuff like that. Is that what they're called? Screaming Trees? The Yelling Mothers? The Greasy Bandits? I don't know. He was into weird grunge shit. I like Nirvana, but like whatever. Anyway, which is all like similar enough to where we can kind of compromise. And it's like, okay, we learn a couple Misfits covers, and then we learn a couple Nirvana covers, and then we learn a couple Casualty songs, and like we just kind of made it work like that. We all came together and agreed, like, because it was close enough. So agree on kind of a set list. Build your own set list out of some songs you guys want to learn. You know, don't make it anything too complicated, because it's not about practicing your instrument. Practicing your instrument should be something you're already doing on your own. This is more to practice chemistry with each other and playing with each other. If you weren't in any kind of band before, even school band, you know, is good with this chemistry thing. Playing with somebody and playing alone in your room, even to like listening to the song at the same time, completely different experiences. So this is more about building chemistry with each other than it is like actually building your like bass skill set. So once you guys have built that set list, you've learned it, you can play it well enough to where like it's passable on stage. The next step is a very tricky one, but I suggest you jump on it sooner than later. Find the root of your sound. Now, I try to speak as deliberately as possible, and when I say find the root of your sound, obviously you guys just started out. You're not gonna be exactly what you want to be or gonna be in the next 10 years or so. But it should be pointed in the right direction at least. When I say the root of your sound, it's what you're eventually gonna grow into. It took me years and years and years to find exactly how I envisioned my band sounding. I mean, when I started, I just wanted to be some like street punk, oi, 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 spiky hair band. And that's really great. I actually still play with a lot of bands who do that kind of thing. I still have a special place in my heart for that kind of music. But anymore, that's not the type of music that I want to make. However, that coincides with the root of what I want to do. I've always liked extreme music with like a punk edge, a punk attitude. And after about 15 years of doing music, I feel like now my band, Nervous Aggression, check us out if you haven't already. Coffee break. I just gave myself douche chills. That was bad. I'm probably going to leave it in so you guys know that like how much of a fucking douche I am. Anyway, back to what I was saying. The root of your sound. It should just be the general direction. It took me, you know, close to 15 years to find, like, I feel like now we finally came together and are starting to write now what I've always wanted us to be really deep down. And it took me years of playing out, years of trying different sounds, having different members come in and out to create like this eclectic whatever the fuck we are now. So, but the reason I put find the root of your sound so early in this series of videos is because it's so important, and it's something I wasn't focused on when I was starting out. So if I could go back in time and give myself some notes, it would be, you know, don't try to sound exactly like your favorite band. Try to at least find something that's a little bit unique and a little bit different. So find the root of your sound. So once you found the root of your sound, this next part should be kind of self-explanatory. Right. Just right. So a point that was made very apparent to me kind of early on is that just like getting good at guitar or drums or singing or whatever, you need to get good at writing. So whether you're a guitarist, you know, do your skill training or whatever it is you fucking instrument nerds do. You guys give singers shit all the time for not loading in. I'm always loading in, but after our set, I gotta talk to the people. Everybody wants to get to know this thing. You're already practicing your skills, whatever instrument you're playing, whether it be guitar, bass, whatever, and you're singing in your car, whatever, practicing your voice. Something that I've always been drawn to was writing lyrics, and something that I noticed pretty quickly was that the more lyrics that I wrote, the better they got. You know, little by little, it's not going to be like day one, my lyrics are a C minus, day two, my lyrics are a C, day three, C plus, so on and so forth. You know, it takes a long time to develop, just like it takes a long time to develop skills on your instrument. It takes a long time to develop skills in writing. Kind of ties into going to shows too. You're going to get inspired by a bunch of other bands and stuff like that. So practice your writing. Just like any other skill, writing is a skill. Practice writing and write together. All right, so you're going to shows, you met the right people, you learned some covers, You got everything's working, everything's flowing. You're writing together. You got kind of an idea of what you guys want to look like and sound like. You got your band name. You got maybe your first. I know social media is a big thing now, so you probably have a logo before you even got the right people in your band. Now it's time to book shows. After all, booking shows is what it's about, and it's going to be intimidating. You're going to get nervous. You're going to want to back out. You're going to think this is fucking stupid. I'll just be a mailman for the rest of my life or whatever. Shouts out to mailman. Nothing wrong with being a mailman. It was just a random job that came to my head. But, that's what this is all about at the end of the day. And I'm going to go a lot more in depth about booking shows in next week's episode. So thanks for tuning in to, I guess this would technically be episode 1 of Question Aggression. I hope you found something in this video that kind of gives you some sense of direction in this crazy music world shit. My name's AJ. Check out my band we got our newest EP, Friends, is available everywhere. Spotify, Bandcamp, iTunes, Google, everything like that, YouTube. If you wouldn't mind, follow us on Instagram at Nervous Aggression Official. Follow us on Facebook. I think facebook.com/Nervous Aggression. We're working on some new material and stuff like that. We'll be coming through your town soon, I'm sure. Peace. That was lame.